G'day everyone, and welcome to Griffinix Tabletop Miniatures. Welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who are new, please don't forget to subscribe! And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all content released here on this channel. Now, I really appreciate you doing that, and if you like it, don't forget to give it a like. That really helps us out. Thanks. Now on with the video. In this video, we're going to continue our look at what I've been up to for the last month or two. My Inquisitorial Guard / Agents of the Inquisition army for Warhammer 40k. Let's have a look at what else I've been up to other than finding my old classic stormtroopers. And well, here is the Force as it is thus far. Technically, I guess, it's missing the stormtroopers that you saw earlier in the previous video, perhaps. If you haven't, check it out. Be up there in the same playlist that this video will be a part of. Anyway, let's have a look. In that previous video, I did point out that I tend to use these palanite forces from necromunda. Now, obviously, these have been slightly altered, as you can see. And again, they're not completely painted, obviously. I've got quite a bit of work to do. If you can see from the sergeant in the front of this squad here, if that gives you some idea of maybe what colour the armour will be across the rest of them. Just giving you a better idea of what they might look like towards the end. Obviously, he's not finished neither. Like with most of my projects, I have so much grey that needs to be slayed, and piles of shame and projects that have never quite been finished over the years. But this one's one of my most recent. Technically, I started working on it probably about 5 years ago. Slowly built up some things, got some of these guys, and clearly you can see I've taken them, and instead of having the palanite enforcer shield, we've got these ones from the old plastic Space Marine Deathwatch kit, just because it has an inquisitional sort of feel to it. I just thought I'll take that. As you can see, he's got a custom head on there. Now, that's not a Games Workshop product, that head. That head actually is a plastic Warlord Games head for the... what are they called again? The Prussian Landwehr Regiment, for their black powder range of Napoleonics. I had a few of those heads spare and thought they look nice, and I'll whack them on these guys. Anyway, so you've got this first squad here, and these ones that usually have the thing that looks like it'll bust down a door with a gun in it, I've turned into flamers. So they're just flamers, and you'll see that I've got another one on the other end of the squad. Just there. Now, I'm not quite sure how I would run these in the Force. I just kind of built them for the rule of cool at the time. Yeah, I'd already built the 2 squads behind that you'll see in just a moment. So yeah, I built these a little bit after they came out. Wasn't sure I'd have enough of the Deathwatch shields, but in the end, I actually had more than I needed, which was good. Move them out of the way. Alright, now they're out of the way. Let's move up to these guys. Now, I'm pretty happy with these. I've always liked, and over the years, have kitbashed either Imperial Guard units or units for Inquisitional sort of forces. Again, heavily inspired by those classic ones. But I always wanted them to have bolt guns. Just like these do. You know, and I used to spend so much money back in the day buying additional Space Marine tactical squads to get a whole bunch of spare bolt guns and put them rather shoddily converted over onto and kitbashed onto Imperial Guardsmen. I think these look much better, and the guns are more appropriate to their size as well. I've noticed they're a little bit smaller than the standard bolt gun, like the casing and everything. Obviously, I think it's been modified so that these guys can use it or something. Maybe people know a little bit more about that, and I can put information down in the comments below. Obviously, it's a necromunda thing, not necessarily a 40k thing, but ruler cool. It's very important to me. Now, as you can see, his weapon, his baton, or whatever, is broken, or has broken off. Now, it keeps breaking off. It was initially glued with plastic glue, polystyrene cement, but it's just not getting a good enough bond there. So I might just glue it back with super glue. Here it is. So if you can imagine, that was in his hand. Same thing happened to the sergeant up the back here. Very much the same thing. And as you can see, they're all built pretty much the same way. Now, to do this, I actually had to buy 3 or 4 of these sets, and I do have plans to use those other ones for something else. But I needed the extra dudes because not every single guy comes with the weapons and the weapons loadout that I wanted. So it was just easier to buy at the time, to buy the sets, a few extra, and that way, if I need to make like a command squad or something, I can as well, quite easily. So there's definitely some future proofing with that. Yeah. But as you can see in the background here, when these guys came out, I was like, oh, they could be Ogren count as so quick, so easily. And so, for my guys, my Inquisitor, who you will see in this video later on, doesn't particularly like Ogrens. He thinks they're stupid and a bit of a, how do we say, a drain on things. He thinks it's better to use these robotic automatons as they follow the orders and don't get scared. Well, at least that's the headcanon I've made for these anyway. Now you can see, we'll bring this one forward first. Whether it's Ogren, Bulgren, whatever you want it to be. You can see I've replaced the hand on this side with one of those spare weapons that come from the those AdMech robot things. I can't remember what they're called, Castellan robots or something. I think maybe. I do like those models, and I've got a lot of them kitbashed and stuff for various other armies as well, from fantasy stuff actually all the way through, or Age of Sigmar, through to even the Imperial Guard. I've got some kitbashed up as Sentinels as well. But anyway, I took one of the weapons arms because I thought the big chunky weapon that the Ogrens and / Bulgrens would come with just looked a bit too odd or chunky, and that this looked more reasonable for what they are. And I thought, that'll do. That'll do quite well. And you can see again, I've got these Death Watch. Obviously, these aren't for the Death Watch, but I just wanted something that looks Inquisitorial, has an Inquisition symbol that I didn't have to sculpt or 3D print, because I'm playing Count as, stuff in this army. So it really didn't matter to me, just as long as it's close enough. I was happy. So as you can see on this guy, if it'll focus, there we are. Not much difference with him. Just symbol on the shield. Actually, they've all got that. I wasn't sure about that for a second. Again, he's got this, and if I remember correctly, no, that one is glued in place. This one. Yeah, this one. This one and the first one's gun still has movement. I'll probably adjust that at some point. There we are. Now again, this is very much work in progress. I've done a previous video on the sentinels at the back. Kitbashed with various bits. Now they're based on the old sentinel kit. I'll bring one forward so you can have a little bit more of a closer look. Will it focus properly? Let's hope it will. Maybe not. Anyway, that's how these look. There we go. It's finally focusing. There we go. See, that looks a bit better. I've got the little armor leggings from the Chicken Walker, if you know what I'm talking about. From the Adeptus Mechanicus range. And the skull is conveniently from a scenery piece, actually. I had to buy a few of that scenery piece to get the 3 of them. And although you may not be able to tell at this point, because it's out of focus again, this bit's from an orc, and this little bit that it's attached to is actually... Is it the legging pieces? Yeah, it's one of the spare legging pieces that you get with these guys. So... yeah, now you can see it better. Then it goes off again. Isn't that perfect? Anyway, you get the idea. Let's move on to this variant. Try and bring it back over here. This might be a better spot to get it to focus. There we are. Now on these guys, given they got the big gun, they don't need the 2 hands to hold it. So it clearly fits on the end there. Quite nicely. And I've got a piece here from the Custodes weapons. It's one of the blades from the tip of their glaive weapon. If that's what it's called? The gun staff thing. I just thought it would look cool as a nice little detail, similar to the bayonets that they put on the Ogrins. And like I said, as it's only needing the weapon in one hand, I just gave it the hand that these come with, basically the empty hand option. Mechanical hand, whatever. There's this one. Really hate that it does that. Just goes straight out of focus when I don't want it to. And then here's the last one of those, of that type. But we're still not done with the Ogren / Bulgrins, obviously. You can see on the screen. We've got more. I think I went a bit overboard. I wanted a variant of this in every possible Ogren / Bulgrin variant. And I'm just not getting this to focus, am I? Well, there you go. You can see I've got to put some putty on around the symbol here, just to smooth it out with the shield. I will do that at some point. I probably should have done it before I undercoated it, but I forgot. And then when I saw it, I was like, bugger. Anyway, up on the shoulder again, and then just turned this this bit with... this bit has like a pummel very similar to this, just on a bigger scale. But instead of having that, I decided to put the actual Ogryn one on. And I think that looks a bit cooler. It's definitely larger, longer. Gives it a little bit more reach. I think that's cool. This one, again, it's not that much different from the other. Slight difference, sorry, in the posing. About it. And there's that one. Now, I decided to do I think his name's Nork Deadog or something, the Ogryn Bulgrin leader guy option. Now, I know this is very different to that, but I thought I'd put the hat on him, give him a speaker below his chin there, so that it could blast orders to others that are perhaps coming from the Inquisitor or from the some sort of Vox guy or something that the Inquisitor has. Initially, I had a different weapon on here, but I took it to actually use on another Ogryn Kitbash and decided to upgrade him with a las cannon, just for the rule of cool. And again, it's got the glaive thing from the Custodes, and then over here I've used this bit, one of the swords that they have, took the gun part off, and I will fill that little gap so that where the bullet casings would have come out. But yeah, I just thought I'd do something different to make a commander one, make him look cool. And again, I wouldn't play him with the rules of having a las cannon unless I was playing with very specific friends who don't mind a little bit of rules experimentation. A bit of WYSIWYG sort of stuff going on. What you see is what you get. And otherwise, in the meantime, I can play him as Count Az. Sit him down. Now, I've always thought, because I've got a lot of regular Ogryns and Bulgrins for my Astra Militarum army. I almost thought I said it wrong because I didn't say Imperial Guard. Anyway, I've got a lot of Ogryns and Bulgrins for those forces, and I always thought that the Nork Deadog guy, not having any direct, like, special other Ogryns or something to go with him, like a special squad, I thought that was a missed opportunity by Games Workshop. They could have done something like that. So, for the rule of cool, I had to get a couple more. Another box or 2 of these. And as you can see, they've got 2 or a pair of the hands. I had to alter, I think, this side's one for the thumb to be in the other place and the fingers to be the opposite way around. But that wasn't too hard to do given all the spares I had. And then obviously up here we've got the sort of missile launcher thing that was introduced in the Horus Heresy range of vehicles, dreadnoughts, etc. as well. So, yeah, I just thought a missile option for subjugating, and then these, I imagine these hands or claws would be crushing and smashing and bashing the enemies around them. So somewhat mixed melee / long range capability. I thought that would be good for the rule of cool. So yeah, this is part of the reason why I haven't made too many videos for a little while, because I was busy working on these and a few other projects, and at the same time kind of up in the air about what's happening with me right now. Am I about to move houses? Am I about to change locations? All these things will happen. Just maybe not as soon as I initially planned, etc. And it's, it's put a lot of things in the air, and it's made it hard for me to plan and do things. But anyway, we'll keep moving on. There are more units in this force. Now we'll look back over here again. as you might notice, just on the side here, we have this squad and this squad. Now, these are the same as these guys. They're just equipped with the sniper rifle option, except for the sergeants. They got twin... I'm counting them as bolt guns at this point. And the guys have got these snipers. And I thought, you have teams of snipers in various armies in 40k, so why not with these? And I think they look good. And like I said, buying those extra sets allowed me to have enough bolt gun guys in those squads, and then enough to make entire squads of sniper teams, so to back them up. Thought that'd be nice. I'll bring this sergeant forward, and you can see again one of those warlord plastic helms, or hats rather, sorry, headpieces with the cool cap. Yeah, from the old Prussian landwehr set. It seems to fit quite well. I kept part of the collar, as you can see, up just next to the guy's neck there. Just there. That's part of the actual warlord head. So I just cut down the neck piece that sits onto. That's part of the original miniature. Because it also shows a collar. And it felt good to be able to cut that bit down and still have the collar up and showing, basically. I thought that was just one of those nice little things that worked out quite well. Now I'll give you another look, or I'll give you a look, rather, at the other sergeant there. Come on. Why are you doing this to me now? Why? I've been doing it the whole video. There we are. You kidding me? That's... Oh, far out. Now I'm dropping him. What else will go wrong? Far out. Just won't. Okay, there we go. There we go. Nice. Now you can see he's got a nice moustache and beard and everything on that particular head. Yeah, I thought that'd look cool. Anyway, sitting back down. Now on to the proper command squad, I guess, of this force. Let's start with this guy. Now he's just like one of this other 10-man squad over here that had the shield and that. Again, he's got the custom head up there, but he's also got one of those Deathwatch bladed weapons that are clearly of filthy Xenos origin. Clearly a Necron or Xenoblade or something. I don't know what they call it, but I just thought that would look cool on him. And we'll set him aside. We've got a squat. Now, I have an army of Leagues of Votann, and I did use some of these squats kitbashed within that force. Now, I will show them off here at some point. But I wanted some that were clearly for the Inquisition. Or not for the Inquisition, sorry, for the Imperium. And so I kitbashed this guy. Gave him some parts from a Gravis armoured Space Marine from the Aggressor kit, I believe. Just thought that would look cool. Now, he's more like that guy's assistant, essentially. These are like the mechanic guys, I guess you could say, for the Force. Obviously, I've used parts from the Iron Hands, Gravis guy. I can't something Feros or something. I can't remember his name. But I've used about 3 or 4 of that kit to kitbash for all sorts of different things. One of them being this, and I thought he looks really cool. That's obviously an old Grey Knight part, but really cool. And he's got the fist from the slave Ogrins from Necromunda, if you're familiar with them. Yeah, and I like his little face in there, the moustache, the beard, the glasses. I think he looks really cool. I always did like that range of minis when they brought them out. Those squats, I was like, oh, they're so cool. And the Leagues of Votann as well. I was like, they're so cool. I'm a dwarf player as well when it comes to fantasy and things, so always wanted some squats. Now, obviously, this is from Blackstone Fortress. He's a navigator, but I'm using him as the psyker and protector of my Inquisitor, essentially. Psychic dude for them. Looks a little bit better than just the regular psyker or the Primaris psyker or whatever they call it now for the Astra Militarum. Yeah. This one may be familiar to you. This is a Kitbashed Eisenhorn. Now, he's not meant to be Eisenhorn anymore. He's been changed into something else. He is an Inquisitor Minoris from the Adeptus Mechanicus, essentially. Well, that's not what it's called, is it? You guys, please correct me down in the comments below. Auto Minoris Mechanicus or something. I don't know the full name off the top of my head. But essentially, they're the Inquisitional wing that watch over the Mechanicus. And I thought, given that I've got this mechanic here who's a squat and things like that, that maybe just having one of those might be cool. And obviously, I've used Eisenhorn and one of the commander models you can buy for the AdMech. I'm not sure what it's called neither, but you can probably tell me down in the comments below if you're familiar with it. Now, I don't know if you can see it as well as I can here, but that helmet and mask, I love it. I absolutely love it. I just think that looks so mean and so cool. Now, if you can see on this and some of the others here, I have them painted this way. Now, that's part of my process. I start with a white undercoat or a cream or a grey, depending on the miniature. Sometimes I do black and then zenithal it over. But then I go over with like ink washes, sort of warm it up, and it's like a mix similar to Agrax Earthshade. But I mix it up myself. It's a mix of Nuln Oil, Fugan Orange, and Anthonian Camo Shade. Ironically, it doesn't have Agrax in it, but it gives a similar result. Yeah. I think he looks cool. But yeah, I do that, and then I go over with the contrast colours and stuff, and it helps pre-shade and do things like that. Especially on more important minis like the Commander ones. Now here, I don't have a name for him yet, but he's the big kahuna. He is the Inquisitor for this force. I know that one's an Inquisitor as well, but he's the one in charge. Large and in charge. Now, I think he looks really cool. He's been heavily kitbashed. He's got Custody shoulder pads. He's got parts from the Stormcast Eternals. He was a special commander unit. I had to buy him. He just looks so cool, basically. It's a really cool unit. He's got, from the Horus Heresy range, one of the... Is it the Mark 6... what do you call him? Mark 6 Praetor arm going up into the shoulder there, holding this Volkite gun / pistol, whatever it is there, with a nice little scope on it. I thought that would be perfect for him. I like Volkite weaponry. For the Ruler Cool, I thought I'd give him that. He's got this thing that comes across over his armor and that here. The little rope and bits of stuff and that. I think that comes from an old Lord Ordinator model, which again was from the Stormcast range, but unfortunately has been taken out, I believe, when they did their recent purge. The head, sake of saying, is 2 pieces. The Mohawk bit is from the Space Marine Deathwatch helmet headpiece. I just cut it off the helmet and I put it on top of one that you get from the... it's from the Imperial Knights set. The one where you get with the... I can't remember what they called it, but it's the one with the big laser weapon and stuff, and it comes with that extra sprue with that on it, and the stuff for the internal cockpit and the pilot, and that's the pilot's helm option there. I just thought the combination of that with the Mohawk thing made him look like an Inquisitor, made him look sick, and that's why I went with it. I decided to give him this other Stormcast weapon, not the one that this model would have come with, but I had plenty spare of this spear, so I thought, why not? Cool power spear, and it looks like he's about to throw it into an enemy. Yeah. Now, at the time, when I made him too, I don't know if it's still the case or not, but Inquisitors could be in Terminator armor. So I thought I'd count as Terminator armor. As you can see, I put another Inquisition symbol there on his belt buckle, another one up on his chest. And to make it look more like a Terminator, as you can see on the back here, he has the vents of a Terminator. And if you recognize that, that's actually the vents from a Grey Knight Terminator. Just superimposed on the back and filled the gaps with some milliput. Very simple. And there you can see that's the other Custody shoulder pad. Just confirming like this one. Yeah. Really can't wait to paint him up. I reckon he'll look really nice leading the force. And yeah, just can't wait to do that. Put him back here. And so, what was supposed to be a very short video about what I've done the last couple of months, where I was building and kitbashing and trying to bring all of this together. This is just one of those projects. And obviously, still got a long way to go. And if any of you out there are interested to see me finishing painting these off, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see a full video, perhaps of these guys being painted up, because all that's happened with them is they've got an undercoat of lead belcher spray. So if anyone's interested in seeing that, again, let me know. I would happily arrange that. That would be no problem. Put it that way. Yeah. And that's where we're at. What do you think? Do you think I went overboard? Do you think I haven't done enough and I've just been lazy? Do you think I brought too many of these subjugator pattern automatons, or whatever they are? Have you got an inquisitional army of some kind, whether that be an old school one that's perhaps been kitbashed and stuff from things from back in the day, or maybe you've got some of those old classic stormtroopers like I mentioned, or maybe even made some out of scions or something, and that could look really cool. Be very interested to know. Anyway, I hope that this didn't bore you too much, and that you get something out of this. Perhaps some inspiration to keep moving forward, to try something new, or to perhaps bring up an old idea and bring it to life. Yeah. I know that now that I've made a video on this, I really want to get them painted up and show them off completed. So, at the same time as I hope this is inspiration for all of you, this will also be something that kind of kicks me into gear and gets me working harder on these to get them complete. Yeah, and that's that. I thank you very much for hanging around. It's been quite a long one. Cheers, guys. If you have any questions for me or for the channel or for what I like to do in the hobby, anything at all, please put that down in the comments below and we can start having a conversation. And if you want to talk a little more, maybe share some inspirational images of our miniatures, our hobby, even our piles of shame, maybe our piles of opportunity, all of that fun stuff, I have a Discord. And I've started uploading a lot of my army's like miniatures. I've taken photos of them, and I've uploaded them on there. So if you'd like to check them out, feel free to do so. It should be up near the banner somewhere, I believe. Yeah, click the link and I'll love to see you over there. And again, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. That would really help. Again, I thank you for watching today. I'll catch you in the next one.